So we're gonna play Prime. Just so you can see, there have been now comparison videos and pictures, and I will say that it is way more drastic than I thought when I played it. I just picked some random one, chat. Some random video from this here channel. El Anal? Oh, it was cut off. It's El Analista de Bits. So you can see the differences are way, a little bit more drastic, maybe way more drastic than you would think, because the game looks how you thought it looked. I'm saying you, I mean, that's what happened to me. But, yeah, no, they actually kind of really went all out with this. This one's crazy, like this comparison. I saw I mean, all of the holograms, all the textures, the geometry. This might be one of the best remasters or remakes Nintendo has ever released. And yet they shadow dropped it. And they charged $40 for it, where Skyward Sword was just Skyward Sword again, with some control options and resolution, but they charged full price for that. I mean, I like Skyward Sword, I had a good time with it, but compared to this, like, this is a real... Like, this is... exactly what needed to happen for this. And yes, Retro did it, but they apparently had help from some outside studios. Anyway, I'll just play the game now. I'm really happy with this so far, and again, I guess in my head, Metroid Prime looked a little bit better than I thought it did. Some of the former Retro artists weren't happy with some of the changes, and we're talking about it. Doors and bombs in particular, they didn't like. I mean, sure, if there's a couple, like, assets... Category and title need changing. Alright. Sorry. Okay. There's a couple assets that are gonna probably piss some people off regardless, but I think it's cool that so much of this got, like, handcrafted detail. Maybe they can, like, update the stuff that they fucked up. I don't know. Vinny, they made a game from your emote, says a chat member. Metroid Fusion skin still in the game, I'm not sure.
Lava caves.
Oh, right. Do you recommend playing this over the original for a first-time playthrough? Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, undoubtedly... don't even think twice, yes. This is the way you could play this game, and you still get the original feel of the game. I mean, I'm only 2 hours in, but... I'm getting everything I wanted out of this. And the controls are so good. The dual analog stick controls are just perfect. I'm kind of at the point now, chat, where I think that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be on Switch 2 or whatever. Like, I don't think Prime 4 is going to be releasing on the Switch. I think what's going to happen is... Love this music. I think we're gonna get Prime 2 later this year, Prime 3 next year, or even just one a year. And then, you know, the Switch 2 will come out, and then Prime 4 will be on that, and it'll be like how Prime was kind of early in the GameCube's lifespan, it'll be something like that. But I will say, if this is any indication of what they're capable of, then I have faith in them. Like, especially if the game plays like this. I mean, obviously they could do some new stuff too, which would be great. But even if it just plays exactly like this, with new items and, like, new things to do, a new world, everything, I would be happy with that. Magmor. Fire-breathing serpent that dwells in lava. Magmors prefer extreme heat zones and are susceptible to frigid attack forms. Sightless, they navigate the lava currents using their sonar receptors. Magmors have a keen sense of smell, enabling them to pinpoint targets with startling accuracy. Stink. This is just the virus. Puffer. Unstable gas-filled organism will rupture on contact. Puffers fill their bodies with lethal metavibrium gas and float around in search of food. If ruptured, the gas within the puffer is violently released. Despite their fragile bodies, puffers are aggressively hunters. The gas cloud they release upon death is often fatal to the creature that brings them down as well. Grapple point. The Morph Ball jump can get you another E-Tank early. Yeah, you know what? I didn't know there was a Morph Ball jump. Because there wasn't originally, but this I think is a Prime 3 tech. So you get a free Morph Ball jump. It's from the Wii version. Oh, okay, so they brought that over from the trilogy. Let's see, the doors have gotten some flack. I mean, they don't look terrible. I don't know what's different about them. Triclops. Hard-shelled creature with powerful jaws. The Triclops is a hunter-gatherer. It collects small creatures and bits of foodstuff, then deposits them elsewhere for later consumption. The hard tripartite mandibles it uses to move earth and rock are quite strong and difficult to escape once ensnared. Split! I like that the creatures in this world kind of feel real, and especially just reading a little bit about them. Like, all this stuff, I'm not, like, no biologist, but, you know, it sounds good to me. That E-tank, is it? I think it's in here, isn't it? So, I mean, in this room, maybe? Someone said E-tank early because of jump. Don't worry about the E-tank. Alright. Well, I mean, if I happen across it, I'll try to get it. I'm just gonna enjoy Troiding. You know? Just enjoying my time with the game, soaking it all in. Because until Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Remastered, this is the Metroid game that we have right now. I will say Metroid fans are eating pretty good lately. There was a dark period. There was a dark period. There were several dark periods. What about Dread? Well, no, Dread, that's what I'm talking about. Like, with... So, I'm enjoying this until... Obviously, we're not getting Prime 4 anytime soon, so... until the Prime 2 remaster. And then Prime 3 is the one I've only played through once, and I know it's not the best in the series, but I'm curious, maybe... I want to see what a remaster would do for that game. Or maybe if it, you know, it's a game that I just would enjoy playing again. Fusion's coming to NSO. That's true. Yep. But no, Prime 3 I remember enjoying at the time. I just didn't think it was as good as 2 or 1. And I'm wondering if maybe they could change some of the stuff. Probably not. It's probably 2. Whatever the stuff was that bothered people. But I'm really interested in playing Prime 3 without the motion controls. And again, I don't fully hate motion controls. I know I always rail against them, but I would rather use a controller. It's working great right now. The problem is with Prime 3, a lot of the Wiimote stuff was integrated into the gameplay. Like they like made it so you had to insert things into a wall and twist and wiggle and then pull and stuff like that. So it makes me wonder if they could even make that game without having the motion control option be the primary option. And I think they could, they'd just have to, like, you know, spend more time on that. And, like, realistically and logistically try to rethink some of the, oh! That sucked. What were you thinking? I don't know, I lost my train of thought. Weirdly enough.
If you can believe it.
I'm just checking, just looking around. There you go. So this is where the jump gets you an extra E-tank early. This one's easy with the spring ball. Yes, it is. Because if you fuck up the bomb jump, then you end up destroying your platform. More nerfs the danger. Yeah, but that's also the fun of Metroid, is becoming overpowered. I'm not, like, gonna stop myself from getting an E-tank. I mean, you could. It's true, though. It's part of, the kind of design choice of this type of game. I think Dread was perfect because it was difficult all the way through the end. And yet, I managed to find, like, a lot of different things. I just thought Dread had a good difficulty. Hang on one second. Okay. We all love the Phendrana drifts. The music. It looks awesome. And now it looks even better. I mean, this is wizardry for the Nintendo Switch.
Recording to logbook.
Flickerbat. Scavenger with optical camouflage that renders it invisible to the naked eye. Flickerbats are deceptive creatures. The only way to track them reliably is with X-ray imaging. They fly ceaselessly, hunting insects and other small prey that float on the air currents. Flickerbats tend to fly in cyclical hunting patterns, using primitive sonar to navigate.
Recording to logbook.
Crystallite, territorial cold weather scavenger. The shell of a crystallite reflects beam weapons and can only be cracked by a concussive blast. They hang upside down in an ice cave during their larval stage. Moisture runs off its body and forms the hard ice shell, which the crystallite retains for the rest of its life. Well, the rest of its short life. Oh, man. Water go ripple. It's funny because you really feel like him when you play this game, chat. The robot, Samus Aran. I'm just kidding, chat. His name is Metroid. I'm telling you, if I was live on stage right now, that would have gotten a lot of laughs. Like, oh man. Oh man, you wouldn't even be able to hear the next joke, because... Save point. Vinny, I have done stand-up. I think you would do well. I don't think I would be a great stand-up. I think I would... I've done panels, but everyone there was there for me anyway. And that's cheating. That's not fair. Like, it's good, it's fun, but all I was doing was, like, doing crowd work and talking to people. I've always secretly wanted to do stand-up, but I am way too stage frightatious, and I'm also way too lazy to come up with material. What I would need is chat members to go through all my videos, take notes of all my best bits, timestamp them, send them to me, and then I can compile a big list of material from over the years. That's the only way I would have enough material. I would be way too lazy to write material. And I don't think I would be funny enough, truthfully. But that's just me. But that's very kind of you, chat member. I'll take that as a... like an alternate reality. You know, like if I was maybe, like less of a lazy motherfucker and didn't have access to internet, perhaps there would be, like, in the 70s or 80s, like Vinesauce stand-up, as opposed to streaming. How convenient. Just hire writers like Jay Leno. Jay wrote his own material in the early days. He was actually a good stand-up. He was, but I think if you're gonna do stand-up comedy, you should probably, like, write your own material so you know it well enough to deliver it with some conviction.
Recording to logbook.
Scatter bamboo. Pulsing tendrils of energy extend from creatures' body. Like all bamboos, these creatures can only be harmed by electrical energy. Alright.
Recording to logbook.
Baby Shegoth, glacial predator. Ice shell protects vulnerable dorsal area. Young Shegoths grow a resilient shell of ice on their backs, which serve to protect a layer of vulnerable flesh. With this being their only weak point, baby Shegoths will turn quickly in order to not allow predators the opportunity to strike at their backs. Powerful hunters, they fire bursts of ultra-cold gas at potential prey and then feast on their frozen victim. Gotta do the tech. I love this music. Makes me feel cold, says a chat member. I'm already cold, because it's just, like, cold. But yeah. Well, I'm not, like, overly cold. but maybe the music and the visuals are making me feel like 2 degrees colder. So cool, though. Celsius or Fahrenheit? Well, Celsius would be a bit of a stretch. Probably not that one.
Recording to logbook.
That's like the difference between grabbing a blanket and not. Ice burrower. Burrower adapted to sub-freezing climates. A hardy life form, the ice burrower has adapted to the frigid climate of Phendrana. It spends most of its time tunneling through the frozen soil, but will occasionally surface to attack passerby. I was really hoping that it wouldn't say burrower again. I'm still, to this day, just really blown away by the accomplishment of turning Metroid into a 3D game and not losing what made Metroid, Metroid. Like, viewing this not just as a game I've played, you know, and have known about for 21 years, but playing it and trying to remember what it was like playing it for the first time. It's really cool. And I'm not just talking about Phendrana drifts. And even the first-person viewpoint was such a risk. I mean, you would think Metroid would just automatically qualify as a third-person game so you could see Samus and run around and stuff. And I think it could work. Fuck you very much, Other M. But, like, someone said Other M was fine. Fine, yes, fine at best. I'll give you fine at best. That's my asterisk to that.
Recording to logbook.
That's bait? I don't think fine is bait. That's how divisive that game is, though. Someone can say it's fine, and like, people want to, like, jump them. It wasn't a terrible game, it just wasn't good. Here, let me read this again. As the great poison reaches even further into the planet, we Chozo begin to feel the gnawings of despair. Before it is too late, we now make our last stand. We have begun to build a temple to contain this darkness. At its heart, we will place a cipher, a mystical lock powered by 12 artifacts, and filled with as much power as we Chozo can harness. We wonder, though, even when we are done, will it be too late? And will the power of the temple and the cipher itself prove strong enough to hold back the poisonous tide that even now swells within the ground, threatening all life? Stupid birds. But I kind of feel like it could work. I can't think of an example of another game series that could handle, or that would, compare to Metroid that's third person. Maybe you can, chat? Like, what other game... Risk of Rain? Why did 2 people say that? That's a weird one. I'm talking like a third-person 3D action exploration game. With the same kind of acrobatic shit that Samus can do. Mario? Alright, never mind, this is not working. I was gonna say maybe like Dead Space or something like that, but that's a completely different thing. Same for people that said Resident Evil. Like, that's just a different thing. You're not jumping around like crazy. The only comparison with Dead Space is that the suits are sci-fi. Doom Eternal. It's, yeah, I mean, Doom and Doom Eternal are first person, but I was talking specifically third person. And they do have some Metroid qualities to them, which I like. Tomb Raider? Ugh. Really? This is way too overly specific. I know, I'm starting to regret this. I'm just making conversation, chat. I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything that is overly Metroid-y that is using a third-person perspective as they originally wanted to go with for this game.
Recorded to logbook.
But I don't care anymore. So many creatures suffer beneath the blight under the land, and we Chozo are no exception. But for all our pain, we can at least believe in the promise of the future. We have come to believe that a time may never come when we can once again open the door and banish the darkness we've contained. Even so, our vigilance will forever remain. We believe that on some far-off day, a savior will come and continue what we have begun. For that savior, we will leave our ancient weapons and armor. The soul who can gather them will be the entrusted one, the only being who can reverse the evil that grows here. Well, if you want to hedge your bets, then yeah, you could just wait for a savior. I'm trying to get the timing right of the missile tech. Jedi Fallen Order? Sure, to a degree. To a degree. That's more melee focused, but I see what you're saying. I guess you could also point to Jet Force Gemini on the N64. I wouldn't say that that is my favorite game to control, but it has that shooting quality to it and running around in sci-fi setting. People are saying Returnal. How about Insanal? Vinny, stop gatekeeping your question. It's my question! I can gatekeep it if I want. The answer to the question is now Insanal, and I will be taking no more suggestions. Thank you. I just started playing Control, and it's almost exactly like what you're talking about. Oh, okay. Control, then. I remember seeing footage of that. So that's a good answer. I don't know, I haven't played it, but... Chat, can we blame Tony Hawk for this? He did invent half-pipes. That's what I'm saying. Tony Hawk invented half-pipes. If it weren't for him, and if it weren't for his horse, we wouldn't have had half-pipes in Metroid Prime. Yep, he invented half-pipe, half-pipe 2, half-pipe underground. Silly little creatures. You think Samus feels bad about that? They're, like, not even attacking her, they're just kind of in her way. Samus has been the direct cause of several mass extinction events. technically, it's the space pirates, because without their bullshittery, Samus wouldn't have had to go in and set the chain of events in motion. But to be fair, she did kill a lot of, like, just fauna. Just trying to live its goddamn life on some scummy planet in the farthest armpits of the galaxy. Probably can't get that yet, whatever that is.
Recording to logbook.
Ice Shriekbat. Like standard Shriekbats, these creatures are easily spotted with thermal imaging. They roost on cave ceilings. Ice. Why was there a splort? I don't know. Subsisting on insects, reptiles, and small mammals, fiercely territorial, they will dive bomb anything that wanders near. So that's something that someone mentioned that you could do. You can charge up to get the items, right? And then you can switch to the scan visor and it'll still bring the items. It's a bit weird. I think it's a glitch. Yeah, I'm not using chat member. I'm not using streamer mode when I do Hi-Fi Rush. Riduli. Also, don't call me Vinny. My name is Streamer. Thanks. Cleveland streamer. Are there any Cleveland streamers in the audience tonight? See, now, like, that's... If you're talking about stand-up, that's just way too specific. Like, that wouldn't work in a live setting. That would have to... All that is just, like... say the thing and then wait for the faces, the emotes in the chat to scroll up. There's no punchline. Like, that's not a constructed or crafted joke. Anyway. Chat, please remind me. I now have the half-pipe item. So am I done in Phendrana for now? Oh god, my brain is just not perceiving this. Oh god. Oh god. Alright, we're good. Alright. I kind of remember the basic beats of... like, how long you spend in each area for the first time you get there. But not too specifically. When's the new season of Vinesauce starting? Depends on what game I get addicted to next. Or genre. Zelda? We've had Zelda already. I guess Zelda 2. The new batch. Fucking turrets. Yeah, that's a good... Yeah, good. What am I even looking at? Do you remember when, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes launched the same time as Halo 2? And then people started comparing them, even though they're completely different games. Oh boy, I remember that. And Half-Life 2 as well. There's a shortcut back that doesn't go all the way around. Metroid Prime 2 had multiplayer. And it was the most basic shit ever, and you just locked on. I played it like 3 times because no one wanted to play it with me. Everyone else was busy playing Halo. But I was such a huge Metroid fan. Oh, God, these fucking things came back already. I was such a huge Metroid fan that I wanted to at least give it a couple tries. I mean, it had 60 FPS, it looked good. It was surprisingly fun in a couple spots. But, yeah, it didn't really have a lot of longevity. GoldenEye, it was not. Thoughts on Prime Hunters? That deserves a port. Or a sequel. Like an online Metroid deathmatch game. With, various bounty hunters with different abilities. Prime Hunters was awesome. But again, you know, it was on DS, so I used that little weird thumb pad to against the screen to get, like, some degree of analog control. And, it was not fun, necessarily, or ideal. That's why, man, Kid Icarus, you know what would be great games to get modernized controls? Kid Icarus Uprising, Metroid Prime Hunters, and, hear me out on this one, Mario 64 DS. I watched a video of a Mario 64 speedrunner who had never played the DS version, and he played it. He was playing it, and he was very aware of the differences in the controls. For some reason, there were people that did not believe me, that the controls were different. But the characters have a different, like, physics to them. So even if you mod in analog controls, which you can, and they're better, but the characters still kind of move around like they have a dumpy, it's not too bad, but it changes the way you do certain jumps, and it's different. I don't like it as much. However, the problem with that is that the game is great. There's so much new shit. So, I would love to see Mario 64 DS get, like, true analog controls. It's such a specific game, though. I can't really see Nintendo ever doing anything with that again. Because if anything, it'll just be Mario 64 and not that one. Which is a shame, because there's like 30 stars locked to that game. There's Yoshi, Wario, some new bosses, actually some quality of life things, too. There's like actually a lot of really good things in that game. But yeah, I would love to see Nintendo actually turn that into a Switch game and like give it true analog, update the resolution and everything. It's a spider ball. Would you rather prefer a Mario Sunshine remake streamer? Or that? I think if they would do Sunshine, since we're talking about remakes, again, I would like a new Mario. Super Mario, Orgyssy. Something new would be better. However, if I had to choose one Mario game to remake, 3D Mario. It would be 64, with all the stuff from the DS remake, and even more. I know I'm being a little greedy here, but that's... yes, that would be great. Someone said Sunshine. If Sunshine, and I don't think this would happen, if Sunshine ever got remade, I would want the cut content and, like, less blue coins, and like, more... Oh, right. This tunnel looks cool. Just less... yeah, a little less buggy would be fine. I love Sunshine. I love the way it plays. It's my favorite controlling Mario game in a lot of ways, but I do think that, you know, you can see the rush. I mean, watch Liam Triforce's video about it if you want that subject in great detail. So a remake of Sunshine would be nice, but I would need there to be, like, more content, like, more stuff. Like the Mario 64 DS treatment. And, like, some of the blue coin stuff is just so much. Honestly, that would just call for a sequel then. Mario Sunshine 2 in that case. Or, like, Mario Sunshine, A Link Between Worlds. Mario 65 isn't real, and no amount of glue eating will make it real, chat member. I'm sorry to tell you. Dumb plant. Oh wait, I have to scan the... oh, I already did. I love that those things just melt the plants instantly. And we have looped back around. Here we are yet again. Man, this heroic music is just so good. And sometimes it's nice to just have a character that's a hero. You know, like Samus deserves this music, even though she's a bounty hunter that never does any bounties. If you look up at the rain goes down your arm cannon. Well, that's an effect I don't believe was in the original Prime, was the rain interacting with the cannon. Oh, look at that! Look at it slides off the cannon. Like, depending on your angle. It's like 2 states, but it's really, really effective. And just above and beyond. I'm just so happy Metroid is alive and well. It's looking kind of grim there. Situation looking pretty grim! Oh, oops. Yeah, the water slides off when you look down as well. Not really sure where I'm going. I got the boost ball, so obviously some kind of half pipe. Back 2 rooms, okay. Game was like, okay. Alright, the player is walking in circles. Half-pipe structure detected. In the future, they are called half-pipes, because they are literally the shape of a pipe cut in half, and not because of Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk formation detected. I could see Tony Hawk showing up in a Metroid game, though. Like, that dude just appears in random locations. It's almost like he's just like some dude that's just walking around, roaming the earth. That documentary about him was really good. Oh, I wanted to follow up. I finished Nightcrawler, and that movie is fucked. So here's what I'm going to say about it. I think it's amazing. I think Jilly Hilly's performance is incredible. He plays a really good Joker. I mean, you know. He also... Yeah, no, he's great in it. But the movie is very uncomfortable. And hits kind of close to home just in current year. Like, considering how the media, the news, is just so bloodthirsty. It's exaggerated, and there's definitely some plot conveniences. I'm like, why didn't Jilly Hilly get caught here? But it does go through a pretty good job at getting him to explain what he's doing. But anyway, I love it, but I don't think I ever want to watch it again. Boot. First movie to make me feel uncomfortable in a long time. Well, when I rewatched American Psycho in Dorsia, I was also kind of uncomfortable, even though I've seen that movie a bunch. Years ago. But Nightcrawler made me more uncomfortable. So it's got that going for it. Hey, Paul! Have you ever seen Birdman? Yeah, I've seen Birdman. Michael Keaton's great in that. Good movie. Louis Bloom is one of the most fascinating characters I've seen in a film. Just nothing behind the eyes. Just practices laughing, watching sitcoms. And, you know, there's even, like, a moment where if I hadn't watched American Psycho so close to Nightcrawler, I might not have picked up on it. But at one point, he recommends a restaurant to Rene Russo's character, and he describes the way it was reviewed, and I'm like, oh, that's a total Patrick Bateman move. But yeah, good movie. But I don't know why I ended up watching those two movies back to back. But, yeah. This is the place above the impact site.
Recording to logbook.
Chozo script translated. The containment of the great poison. This task has fallen to the Chozo, and we will not flee from our duty. Even as we suffer with the land and its creatures, we will pour our will into the 12. The artifacts, which form the lock that holds the great evil at bay in the depths of the planet. This lock must stand up to all who might come to assault it, to preserve the power of the seal and to protect it from those who would meddle for their own designs. We will spread the artifacts across the land, hiding them from prying eyes. The lock must never open until the day comes when this disaster can finally be put right. And that brings us to the weakest aspect of the game, in my opinion, which is the artifact fetch quest. It's not that weak, because you're still going back and getting new items. And you're, you know, exploring the areas more fully. So it's just kind of like forced backtracking. It's not the best. It's in Prime 2 as well, correct. It doesn't really detract from the game enough for me to, like, lower this from, like, a 10. You know, I might be biased.
Recording to logbook.
So here's some hints.
Recording to logbook.
Okay. Fetch questing was big back then. Yeah. Well, also, consider Wind Waker had the Triforce quest, but that was also because stuff was cut from that game. Listen, I'm not saying this has anything to do with it, but consider that Donkey Kong 64 came out
Recording to logbook.
probably, what, like 2 years before this? Just a few short years. Chat, 2 years ago, we were playing Animal Crossing. In pajamas. All day. Oh, that's 3 years. Oh my god. See what I mean? Throughout our living nightmare, as we battle with this unyielding darkness, we Chozo see a light. This light glows with promise, chasing the shadows cast by the great poison and purifying that which has grown toxic. It is strange, though. At times it looks to our eyes as if the light coalesces into the figure of a woman, burning brightly. The luminescence descends from space, then retreats back into the infinite blackness from whence it came. When this prophecy comes to pass, when the light recedes, the Chozo's long vigilance of containment will finally come to an end. Can you repeat that giant message you left there, chat? An old interview with the devs tell that Retro Studios... Okay, alright, chat, stop. Studios didn't have the idea of the fetch quest in Prime 1 and 2. I have to just keep picking up where I left off every time. I want players to go back to previous areas. Alright, I give up. I can't do it! I can't do it. I can't do it. It just keeps going away. It keeps going away. I do have chatty, but I'm on my couch at the moment and I don't feel like getting up. Nintendo wanted players to go back to older areas with newer upgrades. That's the essence of what was written. Great. Chat, am I going to the root cave yet? Or back to the root cave, rather? No, I think I need the, grapple for that, right? Why use many word when few word do trick? Yes, when chat is scrolling as fast as this chat can sometimes scroll, it's much better to have few word. Just communicate via emoji. Alright, chat, just give me a second here. Alright. Chat, the icon of the beams, is that Samus's hand position? Why does she only have 4 fingers? I guess it was designed for a Chozo, right? It's the showstopper. Why does it have a name? You can see her actual hand change configurations in the X-ray visor. I feel like I might have known that many a year ago. Oh. If you think that's bad, wait until you see the final boss. It's just a big half pipe. Come on, you know you can get it. Can't get it. Grapple point, I think. I know there's something to do in that tree. Oh, I think you have to go this way first. Note, this is no longer poison. It used to be poison, but it lapsed. Same for this. Since we killed Flagra. Lag? Yeah, never mind, we're not going this way. Part of the fun of the Metroidvania genre is going back to an old area with new items. I mean, it's not just part of the fun, it's a fucking core tenet of the genre. I'm just looking around. Trying to find some other stuff. Energy core. There's a door there that was not opened. These? Chad, do you remember when I played Metroid Prime 2 and then they announced a game? Was it Dread or was it Prime 4? It was Prime 4. Wow, that was a lot of years ago. Prime 4 and Samus Returns. We've now had 3 major Metroid releases. I count this as a major Metroid release because of how extensive the overhaul is. But yeah, we've had Dread, we've had Samus Returns, and Prime Remake since the announcement of Prime 4. I mean, I'd rather them not release shit. If they knew that they were gonna, like, release a bad product, or Bandai Namco was like, we don't know what Metroid is. And, like, they just had jellyfish. They just filmed jellyfish against the green screen, and we're like, okay, we got the... I think we got the Metroids accounted for. and here's some chorizo. Are we on the right track, Miyamoto-san? Yeah, I just used Miyamoto because I thought it'd be funny, but I don't think he has anything to do with Metroid. You're right, chat member. He might have suggested the first-person viewpoint in Prime, if I'm not mistaken. I suppose I could have done this earlier. And did not need double jump for this. Yeah, fit in that hole. What? What's wrong, chat? Is that not literally what just happened? Need the spider ball for that, don't have it. I guess it was worth it for the energy tank. But it also means... I don't think this is going to be 100% completion, chat. In fact, I'm just going to tell you it's not. But... you know, I'll get as much stuff as I want to. But yeah, if I want that extra thing, I have to come back this way. It's fine. Every time over the past, like, 8 years... No, you know what? No, I wouldn't say 8 years, but every time over the past, like, 4 or 5 years, I thought about playing Metroid Prime, I would always say to myself, just wait a little longer. Just wait a little longer. Just hold! Hold! It paid off. Ruined shrine. I don't think I can get up there because it's got a purple door. I know of a streamer who just finished Prime 1 before the Direct. I mean, the Link's Awakening remake came out not too long after I played Link's Awakening. It wasn't the same amount of time. It was like, you know, over a year, if I'm not mistaken. But it was still soon enough that I was like, ah, shit. Chat, I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to go. Yet again. Phendrana. Oh, yeah. Talon Overworld. Magmore is over that way. So we're gonna go... We're gonna go to Magmore. Okay. Liquid hot magma. Or, as the game calls it, lava caves. Lava caves. Just want to... I should probably memorize the landmarks a little bit, so that way I know how to go to that area without having to open the map every 2 seconds. But if you've ever seen me play a video game before, then you know that if the video game gives me a map, I'm opening it too much. Ah, shit. Okay, we gotta go this way and all the way around. Streamer. ... Yep, this is the right way. Now, can you jump before you get the bombs? Because I was pressing a bunch of buttons when I first got the morph ball, and it wasn't jumping, as far as I remember. Maybe I pressed... Oh, okay, I gotcha. So you need the bombs, and then you can get the first jump. Well, I say first jump, but the spring ball basically comes with bombs. Again, that was not a thing in the GameCube original, and I didn't play the Wii version, so... You know what Metroid Prime 4 needs? Space credits. Samus is a bounty hunter. I know it's in the loosest sense of the word. Someone said the Japanese sense of the word even, but... complete bounties. I guess the problem with that is it would just become like almost every other game. But, I mean, if you wanted to do like... Chad, are they gonna do an open world Metroid? For Metroid Prime... Orgasmo, or whatever the name of the next one. Oh boy. The problem with that is it would kind of then Metroid would lose its identity a bit. But I also don't want them to just make Prime again. And I think they know they can't make Prime again, especially because they just did. And it's good, but we don't need this another time. I mean, to me, the natural... You have options with Prime 4. You can go back to the series' roots, yet again, and you can mine from, like, Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, and you can have a desolate planet crust spanning, rock sock'em cock sucking action fighting game with, well, not really action fighting at all, more like a puzzle platformer first person shoot game like this. And it's just Samus, and you can tell some Chozo stories, whatever. With some, you know, isolation, cool bosses, and just expand this even further. I'm not really sure. I feel like they explored a lot of ideas between Prime 1, 2, and 3. However, there's another option, which is taking further the concept that Prime 3 introduced, which is you have Samus's ship, and you can fly it around, and you can land in different parts of planets or whatever, and you can actually do bounty hunting. And sure, there's a central story, but you know, you have your own choice in how you want to proceed. No Metroid Sky of the Wild. How far does that stray from Metroid, though, is the problem. And here's what I would say to that. Very. It could be done. I mean, Zelda Breath of the Wild, there are people that actually don't like it because it's too far from the core Zelda concept. And then there's people like me who acknowledge that it's far from the core Zelda concept. But I love it anyway. I love it for what it is. And I think it's not a great Zelda game, but it is a great game and I love it. I mean, it's a great Zelda game too in its own way, but I appreciate the refresh of the formula and the freedom given. With Metroid, they're calling it Metroid Prime 4. So you would assume it's something more like this. But if they just called it like Metroid Spagublio, then they could do like different things with it, maybe. Open world fits Zelda way more than Metroid. Yeah, sure, but the idea of grabbing power-ups and getting stronger and using that to unlock different areas, that's Metroid's whole thing. What I'm saying is that's a possible direction. At that point, don't even call it Metroid Prime. Call it Metroid Spagublio. But yeah, I mean, I just think there's options for how they could proceed, and like use actual words. No, I like that word. You can learn to like it too, chat member. You've been probably watching my nonsense long enough. I mean, they've tried a couple different things. There was even a Metroid Prime pinball game at one point, as I'm sure some of you remember, as it is the best Metroid game. Get it, cock! So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could do that, and again, something like that, if you're bounty hunting, that would naturally lend itself to collecting some kind of credits. But again, that ends up being a different thing. At that point, maybe do a third-person version. Just have the whole game be in third person, just to further differentiate it from Prime, and then do a Prime game in first person. It could be the start of a new subtitle, because you have the Prime series is first person, and the rest of the Metroid stuff is like Dread is 2D, you know, it's 2.5D. It could be a way to do something new with the franchise, and if it's good and executed properly, it could be cool. And you could still keep the Metroid stuff. Beam cannons, you know, morph ball power-ups. You could still do puzzles, you could still do the type of, like, open world return with the thing gameplay. I think it's possible. It's probably not what Retro's gonna want to do with Metroid on their first outing back, which was probably actually this instead, but I think there is some merit to the idea. That's just me, though. I'm just talking out loud. I would prefer not every series become open world, though. As much as I'm, like, huffing my own fumes here, I really do believe every series should not all just become open world because of a few successful open world games. There's plenty of that. You could incorporate some open world aspects into a game. Like, isn't Metroid kind of open anyway? Yeah, I mean... Yep. To a degree. So, we'll see. We'll see. I mean... I think Dread takes the pressure off. This, and if they release 2 and 3 HD, also takes a lot of pressure off. So that's gotta be, like... a nice thing to have. Like, okay, Dread was really well received. They've proven that the Prime remakes could be handled properly. So these are all really good things, and it's just now a matter of, do they want to experiment, or do they want to kind of stay... just make the best goddamn Metroid game they can? So who knows, we'll see. I wonder. I wish I could read more of chat. I'm sorry I can't. It's going very quickly. And I'm sure a lot of people had very insightful and interesting things to contribute to this one-sided conversation. But unfortunately I didn't see it. Making an entire open-world game with Metroid's traversal mechanics sounds daunting. It sounds exhausting. So yeah, you'd have to do a lot of different things from scratch at that point. Or just, like, completely rethink the way Samus gets around. Oh, right. Samus becomes a car. Or it's like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, but Metroid. That's the sound of Dom transforming into a spacecraft. I offer you ball. Give Metroid a lightsaber. Like in Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, the new one, they gave Cal a blaster, which couldn't have been an easy choice because you kind of want to maybe separate that from all the other Star Wars games. Like, it is a Jedi game, but Jedis do use blasters. It's not unprecedented. But I think you can only use it in conjunction with a lightsaber. You can't just go into, like, first-person mode and blast around like Kyle Katarn. The reason I bring that up is when you have a game series that has a very specific... it has a very specific kind of, playstyle. Adding another one, you know, could fuck the fine balance of the game up. What I'm saying is, I like lightsabers, but I don't think I'd want Samus to have one. And also, Metroid's not really the most combat-centric game anyway. I think the combat is just fine for the type of game it is. Riker's lightsaber. Yeah. Mando got a lightsaber. That's true. Mando Calrissian actually is getting a darksaber. Now that the show is, like, almost back, I still feel... I really wish they would have drawn out him separated from the child for, like, a full season or two. They brought it back in a sideshow, in a different show. In, like, 2 episodes, they wrapped that up. Like, what? Like, I don't know, maybe have him adopt a frog in the meantime. Like, because his paternal instincts are now kicking in. Well, I still have hope for the show, though. I'm sure it'll be entertaining. I look at Mando more as, like, an enjoyment. Like, just enjoy the Star Wars. Andor actually made me fucking think. And, ooh, it even gave me an emotion, if you could believe it. But Mando, I'm just gonna enjoy. I'm just gonna, like, watch it and just take it in my veins and just say, alright, he's killing things now with a lightsaber. I'm happy about that. That's cool. Sheegoth. Supreme Predator of the Phendrana Drifts, Sheegoths are invulnerable to most beam weapons. The crystals on their back absorb energy which they can fire at their prey. Sheegoths have poor stamina. They hyperventilate after using their breath attack, making their mouths vulnerable. The soft underbelly of a Sheegoth is susceptible to concussive blasts. In battle, they expel blasts of frigid gas to ensnare their targets. They are also fond of ramming and trampling their hapless prey. I mean, I read it, I just need to enact it now. Alright, let me read it again. Just gotta wait for the mouth. Yeah, like that. Okay. Bombs equal concussive hit the belly. Oh, yeah. That would have been cool to see, wouldn't it? Have been. I could have used the bombs. Oops. It even told me to use them. Are you a hands-on, audio, visual, or focus type of learner? I don't know. How do I learn? I like the wave beam effect. Looks even better. It's awesome. I learn usually through just sheer blunt force trauma. And even then, maybe sometimes I don't. If you believe in them horoscopes, I am a Taurus, so I'm very stubborn. I don't know if I believe any of that shit. Anyway, I am a Taurus, the most philosophical of all. Did you ever hear Jim Morrison deliver that? Probably not. There's like a speech he delivers about how he's like, anyone here a Sagittarius? Because I'm a Sagittarius, the most philosophical of all the star signs. And someone in the audience is like, me too, Jim! Me too! Oh yeah, I love the horoscope, Jim! And he goes, well anyway, that's a bunch of bullshit and I don't believe in it. And then the person in the audience is like, I never believed it, Jim! I don't believe it either, Jim! I'm not doing it justice, but it is a thing. It is a thing that exists. Anyway, point is, I am stubborn, and it can take me a while to learn. I think I'm more of a hands-on learner. I have things about my meat prison that I don't love. And I am stubborn, and I sometimes, as chat has learned, I have a hard time reading information and absorbing it. I have to kind of learn experientially. Which is how one makes mistakes, unfortunately. Mistakes do happen to be the best teacher. But they're unfortunate that they happen. It sucks. But yeah. I mean, there's definitely some stuff in here that is related to how I was brought up and the disposition of my parents and, you know, I went to a pretty strict Catholic school with some of the most scraggly, dry, like, I would say soulless, but probably not soulless. That might be a little too far. Cantankerous, nasty, not nice people. I had some teachers that were extremely... They were, like... how do I explain this? Yeah, nuns. Some of them were nuns or ex-nuns. They were... They were the type of people that you almost didn't want to believe the things they were teaching you because you hated them. And I'm not alone in saying that. I had, a lot of classmates, like, we just hated a lot of our teachers in grade school. And I think because of that, and because I had to kind of go through that for years before I had teachers that I liked, and, like, disciplinarian, you know, and, like, hey, chat, I'm not that far off from a lot of you, age-wise. Even if it seems like I am. I'm not, you know, I'm not like 70. But they were smacking our fucking knuckles with rulers. They were pulling our hair. Like, that happened. That was the tail end of the 80s. And it wasn't like I was, you know, like, suffering or anything. I'm not claiming to be some kind of victim. I had a lot of luck, and I had a lot of, like, good things in my life, too. What I'm trying to say, though, is that was not really frowned upon up until like the early 90s, so I had a little bit of that. And it changed the way I learned, and it changed how I wanted to learn, and it made me kind of despise teachers. Later on, I had some good ones. High school, I had some good and some awful ones. I mean, it was a crapshoot. I mean, but that's the thing, though. A teacher, too, you gotta feel a little bit of sympathy for them, because these are also just, like, broken human beings. And you don't really know what they go through in their life, and they bring it to the classroom sometimes, and it sucks. They're just doing their best, and some of them are not handling it in the right way, or because of the fact that I went to a religious school, they handled it in the way that they were taught, which is, you know, Old Testament. But, so, okay, I don't know how that all came from that one question in chat, but the point I'm trying to make is I'm a stubborn learner, and I have problems with authority when it's presented in a certain way. And I feel like, you know, that's something that's formative. That, and I'm also just an asshole. Now, hang on, let me explain. I can't drop all of the responsibility on my teachers and parents and upbringing. No, because there's a certain point where you have to take responsibility for yourself and your own fuck-ups and actions. And that's hard. And it's hard to admit, and it's hard to do. So, you go and you do that. And it's still something at 37. I'm pleased to say I've made progress, but there's a lot I still need to do and learn in life, and I'm not just talking about, like, you know, book learning. But unfortunately, chat members, when you hit my age, if you haven't already, I know some of you have, there's still more to do. There's still more to grow, and that's okay. That's kind of, hopefully that's the thing that always happens. And there's no, and there's, like, one of those, okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the game. I'm trying to do its speech, game. So yeah, it's kind of, it's good to acknowledge these things, and also not to just, like, blanketly look at the world and say, ah yes, that is the reason why my life is terrible. It is the world and not I. Oh yeah, the world definitely sucks, and the way it's set up, it's like almost designed to make people fail. And financially, so many of my friends just have so little for themselves, and it's so fucking disgusting to see that. But yeah, there's a point in time where you also have to take a kind of a cold hard look at yourself in the mirror, and I try to do that, and I'm still doing it, and I, you know, put it in some of my songs. And I also snap a couple off and try to learn from that as well. And so here I am, the glorious mess you perceive. Your eyes do not deceive you. But I'm fine. I just learn in a weird way. And that might be why my gameplay is sometimes frustrating to some viewers. I know most of you that are here live don't really give a shit, and you're just like, I'm here for the funnies, or whatever, I'll look away if I'm not enjoying the gameplay, but there are people that don't like the way I play games and, you know, ignore tutorials and stuff. I mean, I try, but truthfully, unless it's a first-hand tutorial, I sometimes don't even pick up a whole lot from it, unless it's like, you know, one of those tutorials you can play through. And then my patience level is a whole different story. Oh, here, I'll blame something else. Hang on, give me a second here, chat. I got something I want to blame. Let me do this. This is gonna be fun. Okay. I knew that getting a smartphone was gonna be a problem for me. I mean, we're going back like a decade and a half or whatever it is, because I was a late adopter to smartphones. I knew I'd be on that fucking thing all the time. And I avoided it, and I had a flip phone for a really long time. So, I might have only had a smartphone for a decade now. But that, like, tanked my patience. And, how I, like, pay attention to things. Even further. There have been some backseat chat member psychologists who have wondered if I have ADHD of some kind. I don't know. Maybe. I'd prefer if people didn't try to diagnose me from their observations of me. But I mean, you know, you do you. Not gonna stop you. You know. Only you can know yourself. You know who said that? Mr. Skok from Starcock. And as a result, though, I may... Yeah, I didn't, there were less... Instead of you being, like, diagnosed with having ADHD, it was just you were a bad student. You know? And, like, why aren't you paying attention to your studies? But keep in mind, I also had video games. So I was born 85. That's when the NES came out. So I was, like, the perfect age. And I didn't want to... Bro, you play Mario one time, and you want to go to school? Why? Why would you want to? God, I would leave the SNES on. I would play in the morning for like an hour. I would play Link to the Past, and I'd make some progress in a dungeon, and if I didn't want to lose the progress, I'd leave it on. And I would just play again when I got home. But I was a little paranoid that that was going to actually blow up the Super Nintendo, because it would be like heat death. So yeah, school kind of was not my thing. I was fine. I got a lot of information drilled into my head, which then proceeded to leave my head immediately after the test. My parents are pretty strict in regards to me getting good grades, and so I just was like a memorization machine. And then slowly but surely my grades started tanking. Like 8th, 7th, 8th grade. You know, and then they started tanking in high school further, and then I went to college. Bam, 2.0 GPA. Too much freedom. Didn't know what to do with it. And I was 100 student. I was like a grade A student for a long time. But that was just pure memorization. When my parents couldn't help me memorize stuff in school anymore, and it was up to me, I kind of just got by with innate intelligence. Because I did not want to open a fucking book when I could play video games. So that's my story. That chat member must be licking their chops that they got all this out of me. But, let me head over to... Let me go one more area. I'll go to, Chorizo Ruins real quick. But... what I ended up doing in college was I just got too much freedom. I made some friends that I still have to this day, Mike being one of them. And so that was like, you know, a time for me to actually like... because I was also... I guess maybe this will explain a little bit. I was overprotected. You know, only child and all. And that kind of changed my relationship to the world and the way I'd like viewed things and had freedom to do things, which wasn't a whole lot. So college was like kind of a different thing for me, so I just didn't care. But then maybe like a year, I never really found a major. That's why I became an English major. Now you know, I didn't really like any of the things they were offered. I didn't know what I was interested in. I was playing music. The fuck am I gonna do? Make money from writing songs? Turns out, yes. But at the time, I didn't know that. So I kinda just, they didn't have a music program at my school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did communications a little bit, and I did an English major. And that ended up working out for me in a weird roundabout way anyway. But the point is, I started smartening up and realizing I'm paying for college. I may not be paying for it now, but I will be. And I did until I was 30. More. Like 31. I don't think I paid off my student loans until I was like 31. And even that seems like a small miracle at this point. At the time, it was like, whoa, that's a long time. Now it's like, dude, 30? That's amazing. Good for you. So that's where the things are at the moment. So that's awesome. And I'll level with you. It may have helped me get a couple jobs. But whatever I learned in college wasn't, like, applicable to anything that I ended up doing to make money. And even then, I wasn't getting, like, great jobs. So... But I did end up, turning things around, chat, and I stopped smoking a weed, and I make it a pizza instead, and then I started really paying attention and focusing, you know, and luckily I was taking subjects I liked, which is to say not math. And so, as such, I ended up with like a 3.8 GPA at one point. And I started doing really well. So I really turned it around. Please note that that 3.8 GPA didn't help me not pay student loans, because I ended up paying a lot of fucking student loans. But at least I felt proud of myself, like, okay, I did it, I put the time and effort into this thing, and I actually succeeded. It's not that it changed my life to succeed at that thing, but it gave me a little confidence boost. So, and I was able to graduate. So it was worth it, I would say. And then I started streaming video games for a living. So how the fuck did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me up. And you may find yourself streaming from a shotgun shack. I mean, there's other stuff in there too. I could talk about my self-worth issues and how that ties into a college and careers and learning and, you know, mistakes, but that's just life. And I'm sure a lot of us have that kind of stuff. But, you know, chat, this was supposed to be a video game stream where I talked about Metroid, and it turned into this. I don't know how. I hope you don't mind that it did. Now you know a little bit about me. You still don't really know that much, but that's the point. You don't, you know, we're all different people, and that's okay. But I'm happy I could give you a little insight into who Streamer is. And I'll tell you what, I appreciate what I do for a living. I'm happy I got here. I love it. And this is great. I mean, I was talking over a Nintendo Direct yesterday. 14,000 people were watching. Are you kidding me? What is that? It's not real. It's pretty cool, though. So thanks for, you know, thank you for that. I appreciate it a lot. And I also appreciate the support that you give me, whether it be just showing up or the subs that I don't need necessarily. So, you know, it's cool. And I get to make some music. So now, let me end the stream with this cool song that I heard recently. It goes, rubber band man, got the power in the palm of his hand. Good night, everyone. I'll see you soon. I'll see you probably Sunday. I got some good pre-records. I think you'll enjoy them. And I'll see you when I see you. Take care of yourselves. And, be good.